Today we're looking at Mark's account of Jesus calling the 12 apostles. This is in Mark chapter 3, and we're looking specifically at verses 13 through 15 today. We'll see it in two basic chunks. Let's start out with verse 13 from the ESV with a little chunk of Greek at the end. And he went up on the mountain and called to him those whom he desired, and they came to him. So the part I want to look at is he called to himself those he desired. It's proskalete hus athelen autos. So proskalete is a middle voice verb. So it's something that he's doing for himself. So the calling of them is not for their sake, it's for his sake. He's calling them for his purposes. And who does he call? We're told that it's hus athelen, the ones whom he was desiring. So he calls to himself the ones he was desiring. What Mark doesn't tell us is the criteria by which he determined who he was desiring. All we know is that out of the masses who were beginning to follow him, Jesus had some people that he specifically wanted close, and he called those to himself or for himself. For his purposes. Let's carry on and go to 14 and 15. And he appointed 12, whom he also named apostles, so that they might be with him, and he might send them out to preach and have authority to cast out demons. So we're going to look at this pairing in two chunks because it's virtually all significant. So let's dive in with the beginning of 14. Kai poiesen dodeca. We'll stop there for a moment. And it's literally, and he made 12. The ESV translates it, and he appointed, because he formed a group of 12. And I like the notion that he uses the verb poieo. Mark uses the verb poieo, like he made a thing. And the thing is this group of 12. The next part says, hus kai apostolus onomasen, and he named them apostles. So he made a group, he formed a group out of the people that he called to himself that he was desiring, and he took that group that he made and he named them apostles. The magnificent part is apostles literally means sent ones. So what did he do first? He called to himself. You would think they would be called the called ones, right? But they're not called the called ones. They're called the sent ones, because his purpose in calling them was to eventually send them. Magnificent sort of wordplay that he called them to himself. Doesn't identify them as called ones, rather identifies them as sent ones, because the purpose of the calling is to equip and prepare them to be sent out. Not to stay, but to go. Great stuff, really great stuff. So let us carry on and look at the reason that Mark tells us for the calling in order to send. Hina hosen metautu kai hina apostole autus. So hina gives us purpose clauses using subjunctive mood verbs. And here we have our first subjunctive mood verb, hosen, from the verb eimi. This is a subjunctive third person plural verb, in order that they might be, or in order that they should be. So, and then we get metautu, with him. So the primary purpose of calling them to himself is in order that they should be with him. If you're going to be his hand-chosen, desired team that is going to be sent out, the first thing that has to happen is intense discipleship, a patterning process. In the first century, discipleship is a patterning process. The disciple patterns himself after the master. You have to be with the master. You have to be like the master, do what the master does, go where the master goes. embody the values that make up the master's values, etc., etc. So the primary thing that has to happen before he can send them out is they have to go through an intensive process of being with him. Hina hosen metautu, in order that they should be with him. What's the second one? Kaihina apostole autus, and in order that he should send them out. So the two things are necessary in order for the group that he made, that he named apostles, to really be apostles. First, they have to spend time with him, and then after that, they'll be sent out by him. Pretty great stuff. And then he gives us in 3 infinitives the reasoning and the purpose for them being with him and then being sent out. Let's look at that. Kerusen, to preach, kai ekein exousion, and to have authority. So our first 2 infinitives, to preach and to preach and to have authority. And then our third infinitive, ekbalein ta daimonia, to cast out demons. Clearly, the second and third infinitives are related. To have authority to cast out demons. That's kind of a package deal, isn't it? So what he called to himself those that he desired, and he made a group out of them, 12 of them, and he named that group apostles, sent ones, so that they could be with him and so that they could be sent out. And when they're sent out, they're going to do 2 basic things in 3 infinitives. They're going to preach, and they're going to have authority to cast out demons. They're going to communicate a message to people, and they're going to free people from an oppressive and evil influence. Pretty magnificent stuff. The intensive training for the mission is the patterning process of discipleship in order that they should be with him. And when that's done, they can be sent out to preach, to embody what they've learned from him, to be present in his stead as his disciples, and to free people from evil influence. Notice, however, the magnificent wordplay. He called them to himself, but they're not the called ones. The church, ecclesia, is the called ones, the called out ones, called out of the world into the church. But this hand-picked 12 that he was desiring, he made into a group and named them not called ones, but sent ones, to go preach and to go have authority to cast out demons. Great stuff, isn't it? Thanks for watching. I hope that was good for you. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me some feedback in the comments. And until next time, Karis Kairene Humin, grace and peace to you.